In this video, I'll be sharing 5 mistakes I made when I started out in landscape photography so that you guys don't make the same mistakes and can skip over those and ultimately succeed in landscapes. Coming up. Hey, what's up guys, and welcome into the channel where I post weekly videos on how you can improve your landscape photography through in-field and post-processing tutorials as well as gear reviews. So if you're into landscape photography at all, consider subscribing to this channel. Now in this video specifically, I'm sharing 5 mistakes that I made when I started out in landscape photography and ultimately set me up for a lot of failures moving forward in my career, and I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes that I did. So I decided to make this list for you so you could bypass those and really get on with your success in landscape photography. And I've always loved photography and really enjoyed it. I didn't necessarily know that for a fact, but deep down I really enjoyed it. Starting out in high school, I took a film photography class and even developed my own photos in a dark room. Had some success doing that, having some of my images posted in the school magazines. And then through college, I kind of fell by the wayside of photography. I didn't really focus on it a lot. I knew I enjoyed that class, but I never really believed that I could make a career out of it. And then after college, I finally got a DSLR, and my wife really encouraged me to continue my passion for landscape photography. If I wanted to do that as a career, to go for it. And when I was first starting to realize that dream and realize that you could actually make money in landscape photography or in photography at all, I made several mistakes that I don't want you guys to make. Number one mistake that I made was that I wasn't realistic about it at all. I remember making my first photography website and I had everything listed on there. I had landscapes, I had portraits, I had weddings, I had pet photography, which I knew I would hate, but I had it listed on there anyways because I figured people would want a photographer who was well-rounded and who could shoot everything. And really when I posted that website and finally made it live, it was a terrible URL. It was like davidjohnstonart.blogspot.com or something like that. Something nobody would ever search in their entire life. And I remember going to my phone and turning my phone on the volume all the way up so that I could hear all the calls coming in. That was completely unrealistic. Things like this take time to develop. You have to build credibility and build credibility with the quality of your image and also the quality of your work in a specific topic. That leads me to number 2. I started way before I knew my actual niche in photography. It started way before I knew landscapes was where I ultimately wanted to land in my career in landscape photography. I just shared, I posted all these types of photography that I was willing to do and be paid for, but people want to know your specialty. They want to know what you're great at. And a lot of photographers share like, you shoot everything or you shoot one thing. And I kind of go in the middle of that. I think starting out, you shoot everything that you possibly can to really learn if that's what you enjoy shooting. And then after you figure out what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, you shift over into a niche in photography. And for me, that was landscapes and really specializing in that type of photography and then diving deep down into it and figuring out exactly how to do everything and how to be the best possible photographer within that niche as you can be. Number 3 mistake that I really made starting out in landscape photography was that I monetized myself way too soon. And I did this, and I know when you start out in landscape photography or any type of photography, really, you want to make money in that. I was still doing this as a side job, but I still monetized way too early without actually building credibility with the quality of my images. Ultimately, I was able to monetize everything and have that credibility, but if I started out with the credibility first, it probably would have not taken as long as it ultimately did. What I basically did to the audience that I was building and like my email list or my social media followings, if you want those, they're listed below in the link in the video description. But ultimately what I was doing was saying, hey, come on the email list and then pay me for some things that I haven't necessarily proved to you I could do yet. And I think that really hindered me when I was starting off and making some money in landscapes when I first started. If I had waited to do that and been patient about it, I think the credibility would have been there, and ultimately that would have been a faster process of monetization. Even though I started the monetization first, that credibility would have helped me in the long run with my monetization for my landscapes. Number 4 mistake I made, I was really slow to join the tight-knit community of landscape photographers that there is. I was really slow to join that in getting information from them or learning from the tight-knit community that is landscapes. I really viewed it as more of a competition and who could be the best. And I think that really slowed me down, because since then, and since I learned from that mistake, and I've really been invited in and accepted into this tight-knit community of landscape photographers from across the US or across the world, really, is that they're open to sharing advice on how to fix certain things in images, how to make the best images, locations, how to respect locations, all these things, even like business, what they're doing to make money in landscapes and how they can help you do that. All of these things would have helped me way sooner if I had sought out advice from them and been a little bit more humble about going to them and saying, hey, I'm just starting out in landscapes. Could you give me some advice on X, or give me some advice on fill in the blank here of however you want to monetize or whatever you want to create in your landscape photography. Or don't be shy about reaching out to landscape photographers for their help. You can even reach out to me. You can email me at davidjohnstonphoto@gmail.com. I'd be happy to help you out with whatever you need, or comment below with any questions that you may have in landscape photography. And guys, number 5 thing that really I made a mistake on in entering the landscape photography business and community and career was that my passion turned into a job. My job didn't fuel my passion. And I started accepting everything possible that I actually could, and accepting things that I technically didn't necessarily enjoy, being designing ebooks or writing ebooks or things like that. And I just said yes for the money aspect of it. And that was a big mistake, because ultimately what I was originally passionate about, which was photography, became a job. It became a duty and a task that I had to do. And it was no longer really a passion for me, because I was spending more time doing things I didn't necessarily enjoy within that business framework. And I was spending less time doing what I really enjoy. I didn't take the time to think about, okay, I like landscapes, I like teaching, but I don't necessarily like writing, but I do like making videos. So I was really slow on the fact of saying yes to things that other people were doing that I saw was helping them in their career, but I didn't necessarily enjoy doing. Find the things within landscape photography, if you want to make it into a business, or if you just want to do it as a side job, really find the things that you enjoy doing so that your passion doesn't turn into a job. Your job remains passionate to you. Really, all this boils down to was that I wasn't patient enough, and I jumped into things too early without actually thinking about them or seeking out help of how I could actually do this the best way possible. If you want to see what happens next in this story, click or tap your screen right here with the next part of what happens. Also, if you want to watch a different video from this channel, click or tap your screen right here. To subscribe to this channel, click or tap your screen right here. Guys, take these things to heart so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did starting out in landscape photography.